Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 1400. An Ordinary Person's Daily Life, 6/8. Great Existence. As soon as Barton heard Vernal, certain memories hidden deep within his heart surged out. This made it difficult for him to contain his fear. His feet unconsciously took a few steps back. In the archaeological expedition many years ago, all the nightmares had started with similar descriptions. Just as Barton's body trembled and was about to turn around and run away, the deputy director of the compliance department, Pacheco Duane, brought up a question. Since you've already sensed the will of that great existence, why didn't you reconcile with the Fourth Epoch refugees who are pursuing you? Vernal's breathing suddenly became heavier, as if a faint white fog had spewed out. His voice also became louder. Their faith wasn't accepted with their whole body and mind. They still had some reservations. As Vernal spoke, a faint white fog spread out from the half-collapsed house, emitting a strong smell of blood. Barton seemed to come to a realization, but he wasn't in the mood to think. He only wanted to leave this place and escape the danger that was about to erupt. However, Pacheco was rather calm. He looked at Vernal and asked warmly, "You've been visiting Mr. Barton all this while, and writing letters to the Foundation. What kind of help do you want us to provide?" Upon hearing this, Barton was taken aback. If it were another occasion, he would definitely imagine that Pacheco was asking what kind of legal advice Vernal needed. At a time like this, didn't he only have two options? He could either escape and report this to the police, or take out his weapon and fire a bullet at Vernal or smack him in the head with a pole. Barton was full of doubts about Pacheco's way of handling things. With faint white fog lingering at the tip of his nose, and with his eyes that were glowing with gray light, Vernal didn't show any resistance to this kind of exchange. His expression became solemn as he replied in a dignified tone. "Two things. First, bring this item to the suburbs and return in the evening." While speaking, Vernal threw a glass bottle with a slender neck. The glass bottle seemed to be very sturdy. Even when it fell to the ground, it didn't seem damaged at all despite hitting a rock. Its interior was filled with pale white, thin, almost illusory fog. At that moment, Barton acutely sensed that the body of this deputy director of the compliance department had stiffened a little, as though he had sensed something unusual. Vernal didn't observe their reactions and continued, "Secondly, when you are searching for ancient artifacts, help me find similar items." As he spoke, he took out a piece of paper and spread it open. There was a strange-looking lamp on the paper. It was like a tiny water flask that had a candlewick extend out of its mouth. "No problem." After 2 seconds of silence, Pacheco replied in a low voice, one different from his previous tone. "That's good. Haha, don't you think that our encounter was a coincidence?" Then Vernal tossed the piece of paper aside and leaped up high onto the half-collapsed building. He was like a baboon as he nimbly climbed up and jumped, quickly disappearing from Barton's and Pacheco's sights. "What are we going to do next?" Barton turned to look at the deputy director of the compliance department. Before he could finish speaking, he suddenly stopped. He realized that Pacheco was still standing there, breathing heavily. In addition to that, Pacheco's body was covered with thick black fur. His muscles swelled up, causing the black coat to tighten. Monster! Monster! Barton's eyes widened as if he wanted to see clearly Pacheco's current appearance. In the blink of an eye, the abnormality on Pacheco vanished. He let out a long breath and said, "We'll wait here. Do you need to pick them up?" Barton pointed at the bottle and paper on the ground. The corners of Pacheco's mouth twitched as he said, "You can pick it up. But you have to keep a distance from me later." Barton blurted out, "Will the fog in that glass bottle affect you? There are things that even if you can't be certain about, it's best to not rashly attempt them." Pacheco still didn't give a direct answer. It's really tiring to communicate with him. After pondering for a while, Barton took a few steps forward and stopped in front of the bottle and paper. Just as he bent down to grab the two items, his eyes suddenly lit up with a weak light. Immediately after, a pair of boots appeared before his eyes. The front of one of the boots was curled up high. The other was similar to the rounded-top boots that were popular nowadays, as though they belonged to two different people. Barton's heart tightened. He suddenly straightened his body and looked forward. There was a lady standing opposite him. This lady was wearing clothes that could be considered as two dresses. One side was complex, and the other was simple. One side was colorful, and the other side pure black. This asymmetrical attire made Barton flare up instinctively. He wanted to tear off her clothes and give her a normal dress and a pair of normal boots. This impulsiveness didn't contain any trace of a male's desire to harm women. It was purely because of his disgust and repugnant feeling towards such a sense of aesthetics. After enduring the discomfort, Barton cast his gaze at the lady's head. She had a pretty face, a high nose bridge, full lips, and a pair of dark gray eyes that were rarely seen. She looked to be in her 20s. Barton didn't feel any amazement. Instead, he felt that the lady's appearance was rather strange. After a few seconds, he finally understood the reason. The lady's face was devoid of expression, unlike a real person. It was closer to a wax statue. Vernal has already left. The deputy director of the compliance department, Pacheco, seemed to have completely recovered and took the initiative to speak. The lady's gaze swept across the bottle and paper in Barton's hand. "What does he want you to do?" "Bring this bottle to the suburbs and return only in the evening. Also, we are to help him find the item drawn on the paper," Pacheco answered frankly, putting on an attitude as though he was unwilling to be the lady's enemy. The lady nodded and said, "Give me the bottle." As soon as she finished speaking, Barton seemed to have heard an order that couldn't be disobeyed. He instinctively threw the thin-necked bottle in his hand at the other party. Pacheco seized this opportunity and asked, "You're a member of the Tamara family?" The lady caught the bottle and looked down. "I didn't expect anyone to remember us," Pacheco replied with a smile. "In truth, from the end of the fourth epoch until now, there have always been active members of the Tamara family, but there are very few of them. Have you heard of the Theosophy order? They are them. We are us," the lady answered simply before her body rapidly faded away and vanished.